Hey, everybody, and welcome in. It's the Poor Man Fantasy Football League podcast. We're the fantasy football show that gives you a peek inside the life and times of our Dynasty League. I'm your host, Mike, and with me, as always, is my friend Andrew. And this week, we're doing it really early. We had some scheduling stuff. So it is Monday night, February 24th. And this week, we've got our friend Juan coming onto the show, and we're going to do the NFC East Divisional Breakdown Review. So let's kick things off. Andrew, how are you doing?
Good. It's a short week, so yeah, good.
Okay, what do you mean by short week?
Well, Wednesday to Monday.
Okay, not like a. I'm only going to work for like Monday, and then
Gosh no. It's super busy at work, so.
Okay. Well, it's beautiful weather. It's sunny. It's warm. Everything's melting. It's getting to be beautiful up here. Juan, how is it where you are? Ooh, dang.
Is 78 degrees today. It's supposed to be like 80 something tomorrow.
That's still nice.
And then we drop
That is
back
still
to
pretty
the
nice. That
60s next
is
week.
that is gorgeous. We're still walking around. Hey, it's still warmer than us because I think we're in the low 20s. Yeah, and which is great because we were in the minus 40s last week. Yeah, much better. All right, so Juan, it's been a minute since we had you on the show. Let's do a quick little recap. What's been going on in your life? You were doing a ton of stuff, and it sounds like scheduling wise that you're still doing a ton of stuff.
Yeah, so just work, school.
Okay.
And I'm helping out with a local marathon here in town. Linked up with the guy that puts it on.
Are you doing that are you a runner? Is that why you're involved, or is this something you're just doing to broaden your scope and horizon?
No, so it's more to broaden. So like I've been going to school, so I had my bachelor's in human resources. I started going back to school and doing a couple of certs for like risk management and safety. So I ended up running into this guy, and he needed another local advisor. And because I know the way the roads work in town, it was a simple like, hey, do you mind helping with this? Plus, I've helped with like some of our parades here in town and stuff with like equipment wise and stuff. So I understand the way the city wants to block things off, right? So he just asked me like, hey, do you mind just kind of advising and helping? Because I'm not too sure how this is going to work now. So I was like, sure. He's like, I can't pay you, but he goes,
hey, that sounds all right. Especially if it helps you in your educational aspirations. Now, before we jumped onto the show, you were telling me you were watching some TV. You were watching a show kind of like, what'd you call it? Sweet, like Jersey Shore.
It's like
Southern
Jersey
Charm.
Shore,
Now,
but it's
is this in the area that you were
Southern
considering
Charm.
moving to at one point? Kind of. Okay.
Kind of.
Is this your way of doing market research on the area to get to know what the locals are like?
It's
South Carolina.
They just yelled at me from the other
Charleston, South.
It's South Carolina. So it's
all right,
Charleston,
cool.
South Carolina. Yeah, is where it's at.
Well, I'm glad you're getting to enjoy some local culture. Hey, we're trashy stuff to other people, so I get it, man.
Like
no problem.
Reality TV.
We're good.
I'm sure they would say the same thing about some of the crap that goes on at like Letterkenny and stuff like that. They'd probably say the same thing about us, Mike.
Hey, do you know what Letterkenny is? Okay, yeah, like that's a great Canadian content.
Yeah,
though. That is great Canadian content. It's not exactly accurate, but it's not far off. Yeah. There's a lot of stereotypes in there that are true.
Or the Red Green Show.
It's close.
Oh, that's too old. No one's gonna. Yeah, there's an old Canadian comedy show called The Red Green Show. You probably never heard of it. No, guy would wear a plaid shirt with suspenders. One was red, one was green, and his name was Red Green. And he would just talk about, if the women don't find you handsome, they at least find you handy. And he'd build everything with duct tape. Everything.
Yes.
Yeah, it's It was some good fashion Canadian content back in the day.
Yeah.
That was fun. All right. We do have some news, which I'm going to pass it over to our resident news anchor, and that's going to be Andrew. Take it away.
Okay.
Now that you've loaded us up with news.
I guess today or the other day, the Rams gave Matt Stafford permission to start seeking a trade and talk to other teams. So I guess the writing's on the wall there. Guess he's not going to be there.
Did you see the list of teams that showed interest that put their name in the hat?
No, I didn't get that far into it. No.
Yeah. Okay. So I saw that earlier. Let me see if I can pull that back up. I think it was like 6 teams. Top of that list, I think, was Pittsburgh.
Why would Pittsburgh bring in another quarterback?
Because they don't have one. Both of those guys were on 1-year deals.
Well, yeah, but still.
Where did I see that? I know Pittsburgh was on the list.
Well, while you're looking at it, I'll keep going.
Yeah, you keep going. I'll find it.
So with the combine coming up here real quick, it actually started today. Ashton Gentry, running back for Boise State, said he will not work out at the combine. He said he will do the medical and the team evaluation stuff, but he's not going to work out. He said he's saving his workouts for the Boise State Pro Day. And fellow college player Shedeur Sanders also reported that he's not going to work out with at the combine. He's not going to throw it all. So, we kind of speculated last week with Shedeur not wanting to do anything, but it could backfire on these guys. They figure Ashton Gentry is going to be the top running back.
I think so.
In the article I read, I think he was only like 50 yards short of breaking Barry Sanders' college single season rushing record.
Ooh.
He ran for like 26:01 and Barry Sanders ran for like 26:46 or something like that. So he was close to breaking that record. So he's probably going to be the first running back to go off the draft board.
Okay. Matt Stafford news. I got it right here. It's 4 teams: the New York Giants, the Cleveland Browns, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Raiders.
So 4 teams where quarterbacks go to die.
Well, he's kind of on like the last year of his career. So a team that could probably, I think it'd be more harm than good, because I think he's a good enough quarterback that these teams just wouldn't. They need to draft a quarterback. They can't live off of what Matt Stafford brings to the table. But either way, that's who's on the rumor mill list.
Yeah. Interesting. Another article that I read today had again with off season top free agents. There were only it was on the score, and they listed the top 8 free agents, and only 2 of them were offensive players. One was Darnold, Sam Darnold, whatever. Yeah. And then a wide receiver that was, it was another guy, and they projected Darnold to be getting like a 4-year, $120 million contract.
That's not bad.
Not bad. I think it's still
that's middle of the road.
Higher. I think it's still a little bit high for a guy who's only had 1 good year. The rest of his career has been kind of a bust. But
if you could get that level of play out of him every year, minus the Andy Dalton performance in the playoffs, the money spent, I think, would be worth it if you could find a way to manufacture wins.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, because that was a pretty sweet season he had. The question is, can they replicate it?
That's
and true. I think that's where they're going to have to cook in a bit of that. 120 fully guaranteed might be a little much. Maybe 80 mil guaranteed with some incentives. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And then some important dates for everybody to remember. Like I said, Combine started today and goes to March 3rd. Franchise tag deadline, March 4th. Free agency negotiation period begins March 10th. The official NFL New Year is March 12th. Off-season program begins April 7th. And for those that don't know what that is, NFL teams that actually hired a new coach are eligible to gather for spring workouts early, beginning April 7th. Restricted free agent deadline is the 18th of April. And then the off-season program expands April 21st, which is where the rest of the teams get to start doing their workouts. So teams with new coach get 2 weeks extra for their for workouts. And then we got April 24th to the 26th is the draft. And then the most important date for us is May 17th at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I better be up early that day, I guess, since I have the first pick.
Yep, that is
I'll
rookie
probably
draft
be
day.
out at the lake. So
That's usually where you are. Hopefully you have good
Yeah.
reception.
yes, or maybe I'll wait you guys. I'll wait a day. No, I wouldn't do that to you.
Jeez.
And then our annual name shame program, February 24th to September 1st. Go Guy Go has to create a new league name and logo for the last place and cry.
Yeah, I got to give you a good name and an image.
Yes, and oh, I got a little sound bite for it. Can you hear it?
Me now. Doo, doo.
Did you hear that?
Barely. Was it Look at Me Now? By
Who could it be now?
who can it be now?
My Men at Work. Again, some
My
of you
Men
guys
at Work.
might be young.
Yeah, I'd recognize the song. Didn't know the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple ideas. I am going to wait. It is one of those things that I will know it when it finally hits me. Something's going to happen and I'm going to be there and it's going to be like, that's your new name and it's coming with a story.
You were hoping it was going to be in Mexico.
I thought it was going to be in Mexico. I thought there was going to be something, but I was the only one who got silly like that in Mexico.
Well, you and the girl.
What?
Were you not there for the girl?
Which girl are we talking about?
Right by the
Oh, yeah, no, I
pool?
was there for that. Yeah. She had a bad day. I did not get that bad. I love how her family treated her the way they did. Like, you dumb drunk. Anyways, okay. Just to kind of fill a little story one, if you don't know, we were in Mexico. We were having some beers at the poolside. And it's on the video. Yeah, okay. So right there, right where we were to the one side of us.
I seen the video.
We were out of the pool. We were sitting on the chairs when it happened, or were we coming back from the bar and we saw it? Because I think we were out of the pool and we watched this girl. She got out. She struggled. And then you can tell she's not well. And was it her mom or her sister-in-law? I don't know. They bailed on her. So she's sitting there like kind of like half with the towel on, kind of like just like, I don't really know where I am. Like I'm not well. And she was talking. And then I think it was either her brother or her brother-in-law. I don't know like the relationship, but he's sitting there and he's got kids. And she's not doing well. She fell over a couple times. Now people are like trying to help her up. Now she's just lying on the ground. She's like, no, just leave me here. So someone tried to put a towel on her. That didn't go over well. Then she sat up, and that's when I think the world just started to spin. And then she's just like, I got it. And she's looking for something. Couldn't find it, and then just vomited all over the pool deck. And that's when everybody just like, yeah, we're done with you. We don't need you. And the lifeguard's sitting up in his chair, like kind of like over the shoulder looking and like, this is happening. Like, and like somebody's got to do something. And I think it was like maybe the one of the busboy guys that came over and got a bucket and started like washing it down the drain, squeegeed it all off. Yeah. No, they actually shoved it into the bushes behind the lawn chairs. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I think we
Man.
wrapped it up shortly after that and went for dinner.
Yeah.
Mhm. Whatever, man. I've got kids. Kids have puked and pooed
How
and
can you
done
eat
all
after
kinds of
that, though?
nasty
Like,
things. And I was like 15, 20 feet at least away from it, if not further. So I'm good.
Might have been a bit different. Might have been a different story if you had caught wind of it. But
Oh yeah, if I smelt it, it might have been a different story. We might have been sensitive.
that's the one downfall from all of those all inclusives.
man.
Some people just cannot handle their drinks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get the all-inclusive crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of us just can't hold it, man.
Yeah.
We indulge.
Yeah.
No?
I don't think I've had a.
That's good.
I don't think I've had a
usually
bad one
save
like
it
that in a while.
for big trips like that. I usually get one day where I'm a wreck. And then usually the Super Bowl, when we celebrate the Super Bowl and Andrew's birthday. I usually take the day off as a result because I'm not going to be well the following day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we were in Seattle last week, and I think one of the nights I got close, but just made it to the room and just kind of like passed out.
That's not a bad way of doing it. When you have the opportunity, do some day drinking, celebrating, get a good night's sleep, sleep it off. It's all good. I would expect, watching the video you posted of your draft day ranking competition you guys did, that would look like you'd be pretty wrecked after.
Yeah. We were, but
okay.
It wasn't as bad as you would expect it to be. Like, we had so much food, so much stuff that just kind of soaked up. We were running and moving.
You're
so
metabolizing it real quick. Okay.
Enough time to sit and just kind of process in your body. You were sweating it back out by the end of the day. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it wasn't as bad as it was. I think actually the draft that I do with Donnie, our work one, I was probably more wasted at that one. I think everybody was except for one guy, and that one guy didn't get drunk because all he drinks is milk. Like, yeah, he's grown ass man with 2 kids and will not drink anything but.
You know what?
That's a neat combo.
That draft video that you put up, that looked fun.
That did look a lot of fun.
That would be a great time to have.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. We did another one.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Yep. I think I might have sent you guys. I sent you guys one where we were throwing into a net and stuff, right? I think that was the one at my house. So there should be another video. Maybe Donnie has it, but it's a video from that work draft also, because we did a version of it at that work draft where it was like a beer pong throw with like a shot of tequila or something like that, and then it was like a hacky sack throw thing, chug a beer, something else. It was like 4 or 5 different things, to the point where like by the second round, like people are lit because they've like gone 4 or 5 shots deep, 2 beers, 3 beers of like IPAs deep.
Okay.
So yeah, that draft got super interesting super quick.
All right. So, well, one day, Andrew, we will find a place that will let us do that with them. Now let's get down to the meat and potatoes of the show. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFC East and a lot about how wrong we were about it. The NFC East, just for you guys at home that don't know, that is your Dallas Cowboys, your Philadelphia Eagles, your New York Giants, and your Washington Commanders. And what a storied season this division had. The Super Bowl champions came from this division. We had some playoff contenders. We had some absolute duds. A team that took themselves out of the number 1 spot. Good for them. And that would be your New York Giants. Can't believe that happened. And you are a New York Giants fan, so we're going to ask you some serious questions going into next year of what you want to see, what you think is going to happen, and kind of where your feeling of the team is going. So let's start from the top. The Philadelphia Eagles, we predicted being kind of. They finished 14-3. Washington, which was an absolute surprise, finished 12-5. Dallas finished 7-10, and that was unexpected, yet kind of deserving. And then New York just flopped itself all the way down to 3-14. Now, I'll go first. I had Dallas winning this division. I thought Dak Prescott would come back with a vengeance with CeeDee Lamb, and they were going to make some good things happen. It didn't turn out that way. They went 11-6. Was my prediction. They didn't. I had Philadelphia keeping pace with them, but not winning the division. I had them going 11-6, so I was off. I had New York doing better than they did, going 6-11. That didn't work out. And then I had Washington on a massive rebuild year going 5-12. So I was way off on all of them. Not so good. Andrew, you want to talk about how your predictions went?
I was pretty consistent. I had 3 of the 4 teams going 9-8, with them being Dallas, Philadelphia, and Washington. And I think the asterisk was I picked Philadelphia to win the division.
You did. So at least you got half a point there.
And then I actually got my New York Giants.
You did
right at 3-14.
Congratulations.
I just, with them trading away Juan and them not going after a quarterback, I figured it was a rebuild year for them. So
yeah, I'm kind of impressed that you did pick 9-8 for Washington. That you thought that somehow they were going to have a big upswing.
Because the year before they finished strong at the end of the year, so I just thought they would continue with their uptake, and they did. I mean, they
did just exceeded what you had.
Yeah, I just now that I think with Washington, now the expectation is that they push Philadelphia for the division.
Okay.
Because I don't think Dallas is going anywhere, and I think New York, again, they're kind of at their lowest point where they're looking to rebuild, and it might take a couple of years. So
it might, unless they draft that quarterback that makes a significant change. You saw what Washington did. They took Jaden Daniels. They took some other players. They purged. They rebuilt, and within 1 year, they went 12-5. So it is possible to rise quickly.
Yep.
All right, Juan. This is your division. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I know I had kept hearing rumors that, like, I guess the staff of the Giants was pushing for them to keep Barkley for a while and push for Jaden Daniels, and that he actually fell somewhere in their window at one point. So I've seen a lot of talks where, like, imagine if that would have actually happened, right? Like, you had arguably the number 1, number 2 running back in the league, and then arguably the number 1, number 2 quarterback almost in the league.
Yeah.
Like in Daniels, he was top 5 at least as a rookie. Like, imagine that. Like, as much as for me, I think the hardest part would have been our offensive line is still dog doo-doo. It's like horrible, right? You can't do anything if your big men up front can't block for you. And I've said it multiple times. Like, it's hard. It's hard to move the ball any way you want. Like, I don't care who you put back there. You could put anybody back there. You could put Daniels back there. You could put Hurts back there. And if they can't block for you, you're shit out of luck. And the biggest example of that is Barkley going to the Eagles, right? Where you have a solid-ass line. And look at what he did. Like, he goes out there and just tears it up every game because he had someone that can move some bodies, right? Like, watching a couple of their games, I mean, they were blowing holes wide open. And he's dusting for 40, 50 yards, right? So I think the Giants are done for at least another year or two. But I think the Cowboys are close to being done. I think they're going to get that upswing. I think I talked about it at the beginning too, and we're talking about it here, that there was rumors that Jerry Jones was trying to sell the team in order to get like as much asset for his kids because he thought that they were on a downswing year, and I think it proved it. They're not working with Dak too much anymore. Like, I think I thought I seen they let
Rico Dowdle.
What's the name? The running back go again.
Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in a hurt. They're like the Giants. They're kind of in a downward swing.
I think I'd rather be the Giants because you're kind of at the bottom and all you can do is go up. Whereas the Cowboys were good and they're like, now they're crap, but they can still go further. But they might have the illusion that they can be better.
That's the biggest thing is the illusion that they're America's team.
Yeah.
They're starting to really lose that moniker of being America's favorite team because Jerry Jones just keeps doing crazy things. You can't your team's not consistent, your team's losing. People are going to jump off that bandwagon real quick.
All right, here's an interesting. Who is this that's reporting this? Marca News, it's a Hispanic news site, is reporting that the Dallas Cowboys will be setting their sights on Dak Prescott's successor in the 2025 draft.
I could see it.
Yeah, I think I'd seen that somewhere earlier today or something. Today or yesterday, I think on the Sleeper app, where they were talking about the Cowboys aggressively going after a QB. So I think they're starting to realize Dak is good, but he's aging out.
At $240 million,
can't do what he
it's
needs
going to be
do
hard
anymore.
to deliver on that promise.
And Dak is kind of he's starting to get that reputation of, sure, yeah, I'll do really good in the regular season, but then when the bright lights of the playoffs are on him, he crumbles. The whole team crumbles. So.
All right. So here's what we're looking at. Juan, you selected the Philadelphia Eagles to go 13-4. So you were the closest out of the three of us to their 14-3 finish. You had Dallas going 11-6. They finished 7-10. You had the Giants going 8-9. So you were the highest out of all of us, but not close. And then you like Andrew, went 9-8 for the Commanders. Do you think Philadelphia is going to repeat as a dominant team next year, or do you think, like, what chances do you give them as being the number one team in this division next year?
Yeah,
just about everything. It's gonna be between them and Washington.
Yeah,
and it just depends on
Philadelphia now that they've kind of locked in on their coaching staff. The players that they were able to sign and pick up in the draft like really hit. So they're young and cost effective. So good for them. It should be fun to see them what they do next year. I would have loved
if they can keep that core together, like that offensive line.
Take the Chiefs out again.
Barkley,
Hurts, the just
Brown, Devonta Smith. Then to pick up one more wide receiver and improve your defense even more.
No, they got Jahan Dotson. They don't need no more wide receivers. He's fantastic.
They could go on a run like Kansas City. They could go on a run like Kansas City where they're in the finals for the next 3 years and win a couple more. They're the team to beat. But Washington could show the upset, and maybe if Washington beats out Dallas twice and New York twice and splits with Philly, there's 5 wins and could push for the division.
Yeah, I think Washington has a good chance of competing for it. They're only, to me, they can only get better playing off of what they did last year. Young team, rebuilding, the good things going for them. A coach that likes to go for it on 4th down. Man, this sounds awfully familiar.
Well, yes, but it's going to be, it's going to get tough. Like that conference, like you've got now really 3 really, really good teams in Detroit, Philly, and Washington. No,
Coming out of the NFC.
Coin toss for who's going to make it to the championship, right?
Hey, man, Detroit all the way. I'm campaigning now. I'm putting it out into the universe. I'm sure all fan bases are cheering for their teams, but Detroit, they're doing it.
Yeah, I kept seeing a bunch of rumors on the Eagles, and I looked one of them was
Disgusting.
Max
You
Crosby
can't do that. How do they have the
Myles Garrett.
room to be able to afford such A-list talent? Oh, man.
I have no clue. And then I guess another one was not sure if it's in the draft. I think it was somebody in the draft. Yeah. So they're looking at. It doesn't have the name. Oh wait, nope, doesn't have the name. But I guess they're looking at another nose tackle.
Okay.
So I guess it's one of the bigger guys coming out of the
Did
draft.
you listen to
as
last
a
week's
nose
episode
tackle,
by
so they
chance?
can get their tush push going again.
Okay, so I revealed that ridiculous stat that in the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
how many blitz packages did the Eagles run on the Chiefs? Do you remember what that answer was? 0. They only pressed with 4 men the entire game. Only 4.
That's where you're right, Juan. The offensive line is so important.
So if you've got a defensive line, as it is right now, that was able to press the reigning Super Bowl champions without having to blitz, get sacks, get pressures, and cause disruption, and then you go and you add either Myles Garrett and or Max Crosby, and you just rotate those guys in, like, come on. How is any offensive line going to stand up to that level of pressure and attack? Mind-blowing.
The other rumor, though, Mike, is that Garrett might end up in Detroit.
Yes, I've seen that. I do like the trade offers. Essentially, it boils down to we send them Hendon Hooker and 2 firsts to get Myles Garrett. I was like, sure, I don't care. Like, get rid of Hendon Hooker at this point. Jared Goff's the guy. And if Aiden Hutchinson comes back from injury, and I've already seen him sprinting, he should be really rehabilitated and probably angry as all hell, ready to go next season. You put Myles Garrett on the other side. No, that's a sandwich right there. Dangerous. Probably maybe not as dangerous on paper as what the Eagles front line did, because I don't think they've got the interior guys that can like match, but geez, that's still scary. All right.
I'd like to see him go to Kansas City with Chris Jones.
Again, I don't know how they'd have room to pay for this, but okay.
Yeah.
Ifs and nuts and candies and butts, they can always wait for the league cap to rise or do the New Orleans thing and just kick everything down in the lane.
Don't they announce that yesterday or today?
What's it jumping up to?
Let me just go to score.
Salary cap. What is the salary cap? NFL salary cap.
It is jumping to 200 and where is this? Where was my?
Oh, geez. It's going from $279 million to $295.
Yeah.
Almost a $20 million jump. 18 million? I think it's 18 million.
It'll rise at least 22 million.
Jeez, that's a good jump.
The other offensive player that was projected to have a big payday, they're expecting him to sign a 3-year, $42 million deal, is Darius Slayton. That was the other big jump.
Darius Slayton. As a Giants fan, that name is obviously pretty familiar to you. Do you think he's worth a 3-year, $42 million deal? He had flashes.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, he's. I don't know. He's a great
and the projected landing
guy.
Spots,
he's a great dump off guy, but
the projected landing spots are the Patriots.
I don't think he's worth that much.
Chargers or Steelers.
Okay, he'd be a good like tertiary wide receiver because he had games. He just wasn't. He wasn't A-listed.
And Sam Darnold was.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, the projected contract,
nice
4-year, $164 million. to the Titans, Raiders, Steelers, or Giants?
I think the Titans would probably be the best landing spot for him if they don't draft. Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of the guys were all defensive players.
Okay. Well, you know what, guys? Let's talk about our best fantasy lineup from this division. We picked our best quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and flex. Now, we did differ on our quarterback. I picked Jalen Hurts. Juan picked Jalen Hurts. You chose Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott went down to injury, so he was kind of eliminated. Jalen Hurts did well, but unfortunately, Jaden Daniels with 410 points took that top spot. I was not expecting that from a rookie, so congratulations to him. We did pick Saquon Barkley across the board, and we all got that one correct at 337 points. He was the number one running back in this division. For wide receiver, we went CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Brown. Juan, you picked A.J. Brown, and we picked CeeDee Lamb, but we picked A.J. Brown as our flex play, Andrew and I, and you picked CeeDee Lamb. So essentially, we picked the same players for wide receiver and flex. Oddly enough, Terry McLaurin was the guy. He was the one riding the curtails of Jaden Daniels to the tune of 226 points, surpassing both A.J. Brown and CeeDee Lamb. However, in the flex spot, it was CeeDee Lamb with 212 points. He came in second. So we all get a pseudo half point for being so dang close. Except for Juan, you got like bang on. Congratulations.
Yeah, you got 3 of them right.
He did. He got Saquon, and then he got this one, which was a laughable pick at the time. We picked Jake Ferguson, Andrew and I, to be the tight end out of this division, and you took a shot in the dark at Zach Ertz, and he dominated at 143 points. So for that, I want to give you not just where is it? They're here. You deserve it. That was a bold pick, and it paid off.
You're making the dog look outside, Mike. You made one dog look outside with all that clapping.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, that was impressive.
Yeah, I'm excited.
The Zach Ertz pick was bold, and it paid off. So congrats.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and listen to what the hell I said, because I can't remember why I would have said that or picked him. Yeah, but I think maybe it was just a random.
See what happens?
And I just wanted to
there wasn't a lot of choices because you had Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz, Tom Bellinger from the Giants, and then Jake Ferguson, and no one really rose up. Like Zach Ertz, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Zach Ertz was even a top 5 tight end.
I'm almost thinking if my reasoning was just as a dump off for Hurts.
Okay, so Zach Ertz finished as tight end 8 in our league, which is just rather impressive considering he was added to Gabriel, picked him up off of waivers. Right, so he wasn't even like a rostered player.
No, because the year before he really didn't do much.
Yeah, he was in Arizona, wasn't he? Yeah, right. So then he moved on, went back to a coach that he was with in Arizona, Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah, so when Cliff Kingsbury became the offensive coordinator out there, he was able to make some stuff happen. Cool. Wait, am I remembering that right? Is Cliff Kingsbury the offensive coordinator for Washington, or is he the offensive coordinator for the Steelers? Am I conflating two guys together? Cliff Kingsbury. Love having the internet. Oh, yeah, he is. He's over in Washington. Yeah, I did remember that right. Yes. Not completely crazy. All right. Any wild or crazy predictions you have right now? What are you thinking with regards to the combine, Juan? And then second question is, what do you think big move splash might happen at the draft?
In the combine, I'm not too sure because I haven't kept up with too many of the newer guys. I just know the hope is the Giants don't do nothing dumb and go and draft some old man, right? Go pick up somebody fresh. Teach them how to play the game of football, right? bring them up. It'd be smarter than spending a shit ton of money on
Please
some old
don't
man
do
that's
Aaron
not going to
Rodgers.
work out.
Let that man just
Aaron
go play
Rodgers,
arena
right?
football somewhere or
But,
join somebody's
man,
crappy TV show.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let him go do some talk show or go join the Mannings or something and sit on their TV show for a little bit. But big splash moves, I don't even know. Like I said, I haven't kept up too much with anything, but they're coming. There's those big names every year that start to move. I mean, look at what happened with Barkley, right? Big name moving to a rivalry team. So hopefully something like that happens again, but I don't see the Eagles letting up. So I don't know. I can't think of any really big,
I would like to think that
would,
someone's going to pay big to move
yeah.
up to draft Shedeur Sanders and then regret their decision for a couple years. That's what
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard part. I think even with the whole thing of him sitting out during the combine, right? I guess they said that he can either be a big prima donna or he's going to be a big team player, because I guess the rumor is that he's doing it so that he brings NFL scouts to his school so they can see the other guys, right? So then he performs at his school and lets them see everyone.
Okay.
Lets them see specifically, I guess, the brother is what they're trying to catch an NFL combine scout's eye. But I don't know. I see that seems almost like a headache, because you got to think it's going to be Shedeur, his dad, and then a brother. So one NFL team could possibly have to look at three different individual contracts, right, in order to sign even one of them. And at that point, is it really worth three major contracts
for
somebody that possibly might not work out in the NFL, right? So,
you can see Cleveland do it.
Yeah, it's overly expensive.
I watch them do something silly like give up a whole bunch of draft picks to move up.
Yeah,
even further up, and but it's like that every year. Somebody wants something, and they pay a small fortune to get what they want. You know, like it could even be a contending team, like like to get Hunter. Like Cincinnati to shore up their secondary and to potentially get another wide receiver. Trade up because they were in the middle of the pack. They don't want to lose the guy. Trade up their next 3 picks to go after the kid, right? And maybe he doesn't work out, right?
It should be a show nonetheless to see what actually happens at the draft. Because if I'm with the schedule you shared, Andrew, the free agency opens up on March 10th, but the draft isn't until April 24th. So there's a month and a half of free agency activity, which will really shape and narrow down the focus of some of these teams, because if they can't get the guy they're looking for in free agency, then they're going to have to turn to the draft. Then we'll see some big plays.
Yeah.
I think the only other one that can possibly throw some waves, which he's already doing, is going to be Debo, which he's saying he wants to go to a team and be their number one, right? But I guess that they're equating him to only being.
To me, that's still pretty high for Debo Samuel, an aging wide receiver who didn't get it done at all last year.
So,
yeah.
Well, they said he put on weight. Like he put on a lot of weight going into last year too, and
that doesn't help in your cause of trying to get a contract. Shed the weight, bring back the speed, the versatility.
Nope, it doesn't.
The older you get, the tougher it's to do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, you know what, guys? Thank you very much for being flexible in your schedules and allowing this to happen here on Monday night, the 24th. Appreciate that. Juan, as always, fun to have you on the show. It's good to have you back. Good luck with school and have fun with the marathon thing, right? I've never ran one or seen one. I've heard of them, but I've never participated. So I don't really know what to expect. But it sounds kind of neat what you're doing to help them get going.
Yeah. I got a half marathon I'll be running
at Disneyland?
October time sometime too. At Disneyland, actually. Yeah, they have a half marathon.
Do you get to hang out in the park afterwards and like ride some rides or
run down?
You don't think so? You just ride to the gates, touch it, and like, hey, you're
I
done.
don't know.
Go back.
I don't think so. Yeah, well, because I guess
Kinda
you
like
get to
what the-
run through the backstage portions of it.
Oh, that's
so you get
kinda
to
neat.
see.
Well, we
Where
look
the
forward to
magic
hearing
is.
that.
After running that and throwing up for that, you don't need to go on the rides. You've done all your throwing up.
You let it all out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Disney
Well,
already made me throw
folks,
up enough.
next week we've got another one of these shows coming up. It is going to be episode 197 as we slowly creep towards episode 200. We're going to be doing a NFC and AFC North divisional breakdown with our fan Gabriel, aka Little Baby Sheepman, who's going to get to retire that name soon. So that'll be next week, Wednesday night. Should be fun. It'll all be for the its and giggles. Remember, folks, from one poor man to another, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. Good night, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.
Good night.